Most people will never be rich, not because they don't have the intelligence, not because they lack time or opportunity, but because they never trained their minds to be. They inherited poverty in thought before they ever experienced poverty in life. They were taught limitations before they learned to dream. They were told what couldn't be done instead of shown how to shape reality with conviction. And so they live behind invisible walls, never questioning who built them. Wealth, true, generational, soul-aligned wealth, does not start in the bank. It starts in the mind. It is first an idea, then a belief, then a lifestyle, and finally a legacy. But understand this: your mind is either your greatest servant or your silent saboteur. Every day you are either programming it or being programmed by everything around you: social media, small thinkers, fear merchants, people who gave up on their own dreams and now want you to shrink just to make them feel comfortable. This is the battlefield, and you cannot build an empire with a peasant mindset. There is a reason Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." Not just conceive, not just imagine, believe, because belief is the bridge between vision and manifestation. But belief doesn't appear out of nowhere. It is not wishful thinking wrapped in hope. It is trained, conditioned, forged. Belief is a decision you make over and over until the world bends in response. That's how men like Henry Ford, who had no formal education, built machines the world thought were impossible. That's how Edison lit up the darkness, not with luck, but with thousands of failures and an indestructible belief that one more try might be the one. If you want wealth, if you want freedom, if you want to create a life so impactful that your name echoes through generations, you must train your mind to believe like that, with that same stubborn courage, with that same burn-the-boats commitment, because the world does not reward the hesitant, it bows to the bold. But boldness is not recklessness, it is clarity in motion, and clarity is the second gate, clarity of who you are, clarity of what you want, clarity of why it matters. Most people never get rich because they never get clear. They chase money like it's some elusive shadow, but money doesn't chase the confused. Money follows purpose, it follows certainty, it follows people who know exactly what they're building and why. Do you want $10,000 a month? $100,000? Why? To impress? To escape? To finally feel enough? That is not wealth. That is a reaction. Wealth is not about running from something, it is about creating something that matters. He had no money. He was bankrupt. He was laughed out of meetings. But he had clarity. And clarity cuts through resistance like a blade. Until you define what wealth means to you, not society, not your parents, not Instagram, but you will forever chase but never arrive. And once the mind is clear, once it believes and sees with precision, you must learn the most sacred discipline of all, to act. Not once, not when you feel inspired, but daily, relentlessly, without apology, without permission, without needing applause. Because there is no belief without behavior. There is no wealth without work. And there is no freedom without fire. Look at Andrew Carnegie, the steel tycoon. He started as a poor Scottish immigrant working in a cotton factory at 13. No connections, no inheritance. But what he had was a decision. He decided he would not stay where he started. He studied, he sacrificed, he applied, and he built wealth not just for himself, but for the world, funding thousands of libraries, universities, and causes that still breathe life today. That is the power of action, aligned action, when the mind is trained. but your actions will only last as long as your standards. And most people have poverty-level standards. They tolerate low energy. They justify lazy thinking. They accept chaos in their finances and wonder why money never stays. You will never rise above what you tolerate. Not in mindset, not in results, not in wealth. To train your mind for massive wealth, you must ruthlessly elevate your standards. What you eat, what you read, who you spend time with, how you speak to yourself when no one is listening. Every detail matters, because wealth is not just something you get, it is something you become.